So sometimes during the college football offseason, news will slip through the cracks, especially if it's announced on a weekend during the NFL playoffs, which is why we haven't gotten a video out talking about the recent hire made at Missouri. Eli Drinkwitz has found his replacement for Blake Baker, and it's Corey Batoon from South Alabama. Try saying that name without putting a smile on your face. But the main question turns to now, will he be able to put a smile on Tiger fans' faces as they look to build off an epic 2023 season? Let's go ahead and discuss. But if you are new here, welcome on into the channel, people. My name is Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I get it. The season's come to a close. Best of luck to Jim Harbaugh in the NFL. But it's the offseason, and it's my time to shine. I'm here to keep you entertained throughout the next several months, whether it's always looking back at 2023, I'll look ahead at 2024, and a bunch of other nonsense. So if this is the daily dose of college football you need to survive the offseason, might I recommend that you smash that subscribe button down below, leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the hiring of Batoon in Columbia, tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, SEC faithful, Mizzou fans, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we're on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking about college football, and we're going to get there. So jump on in while the water's fine, people. Continue to follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson, Twitter, X, Instagram, regardless of the account. But that way, conversations surrounding our favorite sport never have to stop flowing. Okay, so Corey Batoon is saying goodbye to Mobile. He is following in the same footsteps as his former head coach, Kane Womack, and he's making the jump over to the SEC. The difference between him and a bunch of other group of 5 coaches, which sometimes does carry weight, it all depends on who you talk to. He has experience in the SEC, and he has experience coaching with several current names that are on rosters. He was with Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic. He is now running the show in Oxford. He was in Oxford back when Hugh Freeze was there, and now he is hitching his wagon alongside Eli Drinkwitz in what's supposed to be a breakout year. There's 2 ways to look at this hire, and I try to be optimistic as much as possible. It's very hard to sometimes feel that way when you bring in a group of 5 defensive coordinator who you don't know if he called plays. This was a fundamentally sound defense the last 2 years at South Alabama. And in large part, Womack has to carry a little bit of that weight, which is why he was willing to leave the school to head to Alabama, because of what he was able to implement caught the attention of Kalen DeBoer. It really caught the attention back in Bloomington, but we can go into detail about that later. When it comes to Batoon, no one knows if he was the one calling the plays. We know that he was a part of a staff that really did a good job working with safeties, including Yam Banks, who's actually going to the SEC to play at Ole Miss, but we don't know if he was the one designing all the coverages, if he was the one implementing certain formations, if he was the one with the final decision on who to blitz, how to cover, what was the game plan, the X's and O's. We know he's a smart coach that has experience in the SEC, but does he have experience play calling? There's 2 ways to look at this hire. Number one is he's a guy that has SEC experience, so that will help him carry weight when it comes to recruiting, knowing the hotbeds of the state, knowing the hotbeds of the Southern region, and also understanding certain coaches when it comes to their offensive philosophies. Keep in mind, the last 2 coaches he worked for, offensive-minded guys, Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin. So he already has a baseline there when they show up on the schedule, if they are to end up playing against each other at any point during the regular season or during the postseason. But also, there's the other way to look at it, which is guy has no SEC play calling experience. Maybe we should have hired from within. And this is going to be a battle that is only proven with time and with reps, with extensive play calling and opportunities to present themselves. Nobody has any idea what Batoon can be as a play caller specifically, because we haven't seen it. And simply because of you are losing talent in Columbia doesn't mean you're losing expectations. Much like we talk about with Ole Miss, it is now expected by those in Columbia to watch the Tigers finish with 10 wins. They now know they are capable of being this good of a team, especially offensively. Yes, you lose Cody Schrader. You welcome in Marcus Carroll. I promise you, Tiger fans, if you don't know his name just yet, you are going to love the Georgia State running back. You don't lose Brady Cook. You don't lose Luther Burden. You don't lose Theo Weiss. You don't lose your starting tight end. You don't lose multiple offensive linemen. And you also brought in a plug-and-play offensive tackle in Caden Green, who already has experience playing in the Big 12. That's going to be, I think, a fine upgrade over to the SEC with due time and extensive reps. But that's neither here nor there. The expectations are not changing offensively, and now you have to meet it defensively. The defense carried a lot of weight last year, which is why Blake Baker is actually headed back down to Baton Rouge after being fired by Brian Kelly because he wasn't part of the staff in 2022. It's because of now what he was able to implement. It's kind of flipped this year, if you think about it. I believe Missouri still can be a team that is going to over-exceed expectations. I believe that they see their window. They understand that this is an opportunity with a veteran offense returning and with the cute plug-and-play pieces that were added in via the transfer portal. They can hold their own against really anybody. I mean, maybe if you want to throw out Alabama, okay, fine. But everybody else on that schedule, they can go toe-to-toe with. And they can punch their ticket to Atlanta. But we need the defense just to be sound. Go back and look at a guy like Lincoln Riley last year. Do you want to know why he had to fire Alex Grinch? It wasn't because he realized that this was a dumpster fire move. It was because of, at some point, I can't have an offense that's this fundamentally sound and your defense be that flawed. At some point, I can no longer just bank on you being a guy who's going to figure things out. I have to do what's best for my team. If you had a top 50 unit, well, we would be fine. And honestly, think about that for a second. If USC had a top 50 unit with that offensive philosophy, do you think that they would win the Pac-12? That's kind of the same way I think about Missouri right now. With the offensive identity that is returning and with what you added in via the portal, including defensively with guys like Toriano Pride and a few other linebackers, you should be able to be a team that maybe gives up 20 points a game, 22 points a game, 26 points a game on a bad day. And then when you play against the other teams that you're right alongside with, your offense is going to take weight. It's going to take off. It's going to explode. And your defense is just going to get by the skin of its teeth. Critical third down stop, forcing a punt at the right time, a turnover. And I think that that's what you're looking for with a guy like Batoon. Batoon gets that version of this defense to unfold. There is a lot of possibility and potential for a rise in the likes of Columbia. I think this is a decent hire. I will be very intrigued to see what happens moving forward. But Mizzou fans, they're pedal to the metal. They understand that this is a year where they absolutely can own the SEC and build off what they did last year against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. They want to implement that. If Batoon is anything like Womack, who, by the way, posted back-to-back top 25 defensive units down in South Alabama nationally, really good unit, really good hire. If they're able to do that, I think you're looking at a team that's going to be able to meet all of its goals going into next year. They're pedal to the metal. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They're just trying to get there with the hiring like Batoon. Maybe it sees fit. Or maybe we're right back here next season talking about what went wrong in Columbia. I think we're going to be leaning the former rather than the latter when all is said and done. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.